Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking about a pretty unique peace dollar. That's the 1926S, and we're going to go over the general history of the coin as well as the values for this coin based off of what condition it's in, and if it has one of multiple VAMs or varieties that are really small. You're going to look closely at the coin, but if they're on the coin, they're going to be making the coin worth a fair bit more. We'll also just cover some general peace dollar mint errors, but the basic history on this coin. So in 1921, they start striking the peace dollars, commemorating World War I, changing the design from the Morgan dollar, and also fulfilling the requirements of the Pittman Act, which was basically sending a bunch of silver coins to Great Britain so that they could fulfill the currency guarantee that they were backing their currency with silver. They were running a little bit short on silver and they needed that. The peace dollar itself was not a huge success at the time. It wasn't super collected. They didn't really circulate a ton in the United States outside of a little bit in the West Coast where people appreciated hard money a bit more. They stopped striking in 28 after the Pittman Act was fulfilled, brought it back in 34 and 35, and were thinking of continuing the design later on in 1964 when they were sort of using the last reserves of silver after they were switching to clad coinage, but they ended up not going forward after it was clear that the coins would just be given to dealers who would sell to collectors. But 1926S is a special date and mint mark because the San Francisco Mint was storied of not being great in quality production for, especially in the 20s, but for coins overall. So not the best strike, but in this case, they do quite a nice job. So there's a fair amount of coins in Mint State 65, like a really nice gem, not too marked up coin. These coins would have been put into 1,000 coin bags and shipped around, so there was a fair amount of them sort of contacting each other. But the exceptional strike quality means that despite that, there's still a fair amount that survived. They've got good luster as opposed to being super grainy or satiny or, washed out with a bunch of yellow spots. But the bag marks still happen on the coins, and a fair amount of 1,000 coin mint bags emerged over the years. Some of those being from bags that, maybe they didn't rattle around as much because those coins are less marked up. So because of that, it's not a huge conditional rarity like 1925S. There's none finer than Mint State 65, and the Mint State 65 coin is like a $30,000 coin. Well, here, the dates certainly at Mint State 63, 150 is a little bit more than average, but then really do ramp up by each grade increase. So there can be a good amount of arbitrage where if you know the grades really well, if you can do a good job cherry picking coins that are undergraded in holders, the peace dollar series is a really good one to do that on because there can be such a differential in value. And there were over 6 million of these made, so in 27 and 28, the mintages really taper off, but here there's still a fair amount. In terms of some of the VAMs, you're going to see some over-polished dies. There's this little die crack running through the N and the G and In God We Trust, which is a big marker, and you can see it pretty in a small way here. There weren't too much in the way of price history, but there's just a ton of polishing all through these letters. You can see it more so here, just continued, and really that little crack running through all three of these. This is a slightly more advanced die state, but the polishing just continues. I didn't find any price history, but it's on the Elite 30 list, and I do mostly Elite 30 and top 50 peace dollar VAMs, which are like the best ones. I sort of prefer something like this, which is the dot variety. It's sort of unclear why it's there. It's not one of these berries. It's totally separate, and if that's present, it becomes slightly more valuable. Only $175 in Mint State 63, so like a $25 increase. Nothing crazy, but it's still a little bit more tangible than the other one. Certainly better in AU55. And then there's also the doubled reverse. You can see sort of in some of the leaves, some clear doubling down, some clear doubling in spread and shelving. Something to be aware of. This one, this time, AU55, it's $135. Mint State 63, $400. Mint State 65, 1,000. This is a top 50. That's a pretty nice increase. So if you can look at a lot of coins that are often already in holders, but people just didn't realize that they were a VAM. If you've got some laying around in a coin shop, just spend a little time checking, and the VAMs can be a good way to make an extra chunk of change. After that, there weren't many 26S errors, but I was able to find, so this was a struck through reverse in mint state, but it looks like it's been super worn. Just something happened, came between the coin as it was getting struck and the dies that were striking it. This one's a cracked planchet, so pretty attainable coin as well. These aren't some of the major errors that really stand out and often get caught. 26S was pretty, that year they were having pretty good quality standards. And then this one is a really cool, all the off-center errors are super valuable. So if you ever see something like this, it's quite valuable because the piece dollars, really large planchet, high quality control on something like that, and few of them were struck off center. So this one's extra valuable, but a good little slate of VAMs to be on the lookout for, and hope that this helps you collect. And also, it's one of the San Francisco ones that comes nicer, so it's important to be aware of that. Thanks for watching the video. I'd encourage you to like the video, comment, and make sure to subscribe to my channel. And I also have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and some other social media platforms. You can also go to my main channel website, treasuretownYT.com, to learn more about the channel and sort of stay in contact. I also will eventually host all of these videos on coinsmetalscards.com, which will be both news, marketplace, and coin information. I do have the goal of eventually getting pretty much every US coin, date, mint mark, denomination on the channel with a similar video to the one that you just watched, and that will likely all be hosted there. And then I also have treasuretowncoins.com, which is sort of my coin dealing wing, coin dealing only entity that is a little bit less focused on content production. So thank you so much, and I'll look forward to seeing you on some of my other videos. I also have videos that are not just the date, mint mark, denomination recap in this format, so you can check some of those out, and I'll have fun seeing you there.